Hello collectors, Joe Prodzak here, back with another statue review. I know it's been a little bit since I gave you a full detailed review, but I'm back and I'm ready to roll. Today I'm reviewing for you the Sideshow Green Goblin Premium Format figure. The Green Goblin first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man number 14. Ever since then, he has caused Peter Parker no end of suffering and has been an integral part of the Wall Crawler's story. The Green Goblin is not only one of Spider-Man's most iconic villains, he is one of the most iconic villains in all of comics and was part of one of the most important stories in the Amazing Spider-Man number 121. What comic book lover doesn't know the story of the night Gwen Stacy died? The storyline signaled a change in comic books and is said to be the end of the Silver Age of comics. After the events of Amazing Spider-Man number 121, the stories and comics would take more risks with darker themes and more realism than before. After previously purchasing the Amazing Spider-Man from Sideshow, I knew that I needed to have the Green Goblin in my collection to go with him. They are too iconic of a pair for me to miss out. Overall, I love the look and design of the statue. The Green Goblin stands perched atop his goblin glider and is chucking bombs at Spider-Man. As the companion piece to the Amazing Spider-Man, the two statues have similar bases. Whereas Spidey is surrounded by explosions, the Green Goblin is encircled by smoke from his own exhaust. I do like that the bases are similar, though they are not quite the same as the Goblin's base is lighter in color than that of Spider-Man's. The contrast between the two statues continues as the brightness of the Green Goblin's green and purple is a nice offset to Spider-Man's red and blue. Green Goblin's sculpt is an excellent example of Sideshow craftsmanship. The face sculpt captures Norman Osborn's insanity and is menacing. Though there is a seam where the jawline meets the ears, it is not very noticeable as the texture remains the same throughout the face. The Goblin's frame is live, and it has some nice textures as well, though some of the detail is not as crisp as it could be. The costume also has a lot of varying textures and some intricate details with the threading. I really like his hat and goggles as it shows some of that finer detail. The costume does sit on top of the body rather than being one smooth piece. The only bit of mixed media on this statue is the strap of the Green Goblin's satchel. In the past, Sideshow might have created the satchel in mixed media, but they were typically flat, lacked dimension, and generally clashed with the fully sculpted piece, so I like that the satchel here is fully sculpted too. The base is where some collectors are going to be put off by this piece. I personally don't have a problem with it, but if you didn't like the base on Spidey, then you are not going to like the base here either, as it is done in that same style. Smoke is not easy to capture in a sculpt. After all, how do you sculpt a gaseous form? The style here is thick. It kind of reminds me of what you might see when watching NASA send a rocket into space, rather than when you see a fire off in the distance. The paint is smooth and clean, though it does hide some of the details in the skin. The Green Goblin looks great from a normal viewing distance, and I'm hard pressed to find any mistakes in the paint, even minor ones. There was some concern about the orange looking more yellow because of Sideshow's own unboxing video, but as you can see here, that is not the case. There is some good detail and TLC in the statue, and that is particularly evident in the small bits of thread around the goggles. One thing that can be said about the statue in comparison to the prototype on Sideshow's website is that the production piece looks brighter overall. Now, as you know, when you take pictures of something, the lighting is very important and can drastically change the look of a statue. That is why collectors were worried about this piece after watching Sideshow's unboxing, as they used really bright lights when producing that video. Conversely, the same could be said of the pictures that Sideshow displayed of the Goblin's prototype, in which he appears a little bit darker. Now, if you compare those pictures from the Sideshow website with mine here, there is a significant difference in tone. But when I go downstairs and look at the Goblin with my own eyes, the tone is much more closer to the prototype than what my cameras show here. My only minor complaint will be the slight loss of detail with some of the texturing, which is only noticeable when viewed from a very close distance. The Green Goblin was easy to assemble, and I'm rather surprised at how stable the statue is when moving him around. I moved both the Goblin and Spidey around while shooting the review, and the Goblin is much easier to move and is very stable. The weight is about what you would expect, not extraordinarily heavy, but not extremely light either. In my hands, he feels only a bit heavier than Spider-Man. This premium format from Sideshow Collectibles is priced at $519.99 with an edition size of 2,000. So while the statue isn't even currently waitlisted and the edition size is pretty reasonable, I would keep in mind that Sideshow made 7,500 of the Amazing Spider-Man and 1,250 of the symbiote version. That's 8,750 Spider-Man statues and only 2,000 Green Goblins. As a companion piece to Spider-Man, it is because of that huge gap in edition size between the two pieces that I think the Green Goblin has good collectability potential. So if you want a Goblin to go with your Spidey, get him now before the rest of those Spidey collectors wake up to buy this statue. Though I wasn't initially excited about having this statue in my collection, now that I have him, I am really glad that I do. I wouldn't normally buy a statue as a companion piece to another, but as a comic book fan, you cannot go wrong with having both the Amazing Spider-Man and the Green Goblin side by side in your collection. Separately, Spider-Man is great, but paired with the Green Goblin, my collection now screams comic books. As a standalone piece, the Green Goblin is well executed and is a great example of the type of quality you're going to get with a modern Sideshow statue. I'm giving the Green Goblin a final review score of 4 out of 5 for great. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Green Goblin premium format figure from Sideshow Collectibles. And if you did, check out our bi-weekly show called Statue Talk, where Kwang and I share our thoughts on all the latest statue previews, pre-orders, and updates to our collections. Check out our website, statuereview.com, where you can view a full gallery of this statue as well as my written review. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to keep up to date on all of our latest statue unboxings and reviews. And remember, statue collecting is more than just a hobby, it's a lifestyle. This has been Joe Prodzik for Statue Review. Thanks for watching.